क्लास स्टार्ट
सेठी सुनो सेठी से माने मना करा तो बने जोठी लोक रोना सेठी इंटरव्यू माने ओएस क्लास न लगे नॉलेज से कर बेरे पियोन को ओएस क्लास को भी सार दिन क्लास टा कथा
आगे तो मु कहली सर आसु भलो पिलाटा तो बढ़िया से कथा हला कहला सामु कहली सर तो कहि दैछन बट मु आम तरफ जेते ट्राई करिबे बेस्ट टू बेस्ट करिया पे मैनेजमेंट पर इन्फॉर्म करबी बुझु ना सेठी के नाहंती गुडे पे हम क्लास रो भगे दोचन जल्दी चलो क्लास
मास्टर तो क्लास रो
सही अछि बाबू जन
हमको भगे दोचन
सर ये जगह
So good morning, let's start the daily development. So the first topic is global trade. So what is affecting the trade momentum? Mad in a slowing economy, inflationary setting and tight money control world over, India's mercantile exports sunk by 12.7% on the year-to-year basis to 34.66 billion in April, a 6-month low. Since export from India has been reduced. Okay, so the 6-month low, import fell sharper by 14% to 49.90 billion during the same period. The fall in import and export is not limited to India, as other countries too have recorded similar declines, affirming the nations about slowing global demand. So there is a slowdown in global demand. So most of the countries are facing a fall in both export and import. But the current underlying trend in the global trade. Okay, so the essential headwinds observed with respect to global trade were weaker economic activities worldwide, inflation and tightening of monetary policies, disrupted supply chain because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict and financial instability, because of the collapse of several financial institutions in advanced economies. Okay, that is a major reason. Uh, The ongoing conflict in Eastern Europe continued to have a bearing on the prices of energy, food, and commodities. As observed by the World Trade Organization, the food and energy price receded from their post-conflict peak by the fourth quarter of last year. They remained high by historical standards and continued to erode real incomes and import demand during the mentioned period. The impact of energy price was strongest during the winter months in Europe. Russia was among the largest supplier of energy to Europe before it was sanctioned. Europe responded to the loss of gas supply from Russia by shipping to other suppliers, including the USA, Qatar, Norway, and Algeria. This potentially increased LNG prices elsewhere, such as Japan, where the prices doubled between January last year to February this year. The collapse of financial institutions, such as the crypto exchange FTX in November 2020, alongside three banks in the USA since the March: the Silicon Valley Bank, the Signature Bank, and the First Republic Bank, and the loss of confidence in Credit Suisse added to the troubled scenario. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development on guard in its latest update in April concluded the event raised the specter of financial contagion in an already slowing economy. So it has its own impact on the slowing economy. Okay, what are we looking at? The European Union is India's third largest trading partner after the USA and China. The European economic forecast published in February helped that the region could narrowly escape the recession that took shape around September. Moreover, as per the latest published statistics for the euro areas, food, alcohol, and tobacco experienced the highest annual rate of inflation on a sequential basis in May, followed by non-energy industrial goods, services, and energy. As for the US, okay, in May, the federal chair Jerome Powell said that inflation had somewhat moderated since the middle of the last year. Nonetheless, inflation pressure continued to run high, with expectation of it receding to 2%, having a long way to go. That means, so from Europe to America, so every country is under the grip of recession. The JP Morgan Global Manufacturing Purchasing Manager Index (PMI) Purchasing Manager Index, compiled by the Standard and Poor, registered 49.6 in May, unchanged for the third consecutive month and indicating a marginal deterioration of business conditions. The indicator is used to assess manufacturing business conditions. It observed that while there was some brighter news on the production front, with output rising for a fourth month in a row, the production gain were again driven by improved supply rather than any new inflow of orders. Okay. How are these related to trade? To put it simply, in a period of economic slowdown, international trade, both export and imports, fall sharply as overall demand for goods and services stand reduced. There is an aversion for discretionary spending, which particularly weighed on some import and postponed expenditures. It is in this light that the export of engineering goods, gems and jewelry, chemicals and ready-made garment and plastics, along with petroleum products, contracted to grow at a slow pace in 2023. Similarly, inflation, the uneven rise in price, especially of essentials such as food and energy, erodes the purchasing power of an individual. However, it may happen that people in the country may turn to buying import if they are cheaper than their indigenous product. But this is where the conversion rate may potentially have a bearing to offset the dynamics. Additionally, inflation also affects the flow of capital to a developing country. Important to note, the share of export of goods and services combined in GDP stood at 21.4% in a financial 2021-22. But next for India, global demand is not looking good. Okay, because unless there is not a demand, so export will be reduced, and so also import, because on demand both export and import depend upon the demand. Okay, so likewise, a global slowdown, especially in the US, which is our major trading partner, could have implications on demand for our mercantile exports. High base effect may also reflect the growth numbers. However, services export will hold the fort. Import may remain low as commodity prices and iron value stabilize. However, quicker recovery may add pressure on import demand. Uh, as for the concern about lower import, the non-crude, non-jewelry segment that has grown by 15% in the last fiscal, higher than the long-term average growth. This shows that domestic demand remained robust. A cyclical correction could not be seen as a slowdown. Lower import have been because of stable oil price, reducing our import bills. Adverse position, what is it? What it is? So, what are the law commission said about it? So, the next question is a policy or law and policy. But the adverse position, there is no justification for introducing any change in law relating to adverse position. The 22nd Law Commission has held in its recent report. So, what is this? We'll discuss about the adverse position. So, when someone take position of a property, it is called that adverse position. The Law Commission headed by the former Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court, Rituraj Awasthi, and comprising retired Kerala High Court Judge T.K. Shankaran, said in its 280th report that there is no reason for increasing the period of limitation. However, two of its ex officio members filed a dissent note stating that law does not stand judicial scrutiny and promotes the false claim under the color of adverse position. What is adverse position? Adverse position is the legal process whereby a non-owner occupant of a piece of land gain title. What it is? It is the process of non-owner occupant of a piece of land gain title and ownership of the land after a certain period of time. This is important. What is adverse position? A non-owner occupant of a piece of land. He is not the owner, but he occupied it. So get title and ownership of the land after a certain period of time. The concept of adverse possession stems from the idea that land must not be left vacant, but instead be put to judicious use. Essentially, adverse possession refers to the hostile possession of property which must be continuous, uninterrupted, and peaceful. Legality of adverse possession in India. The concept originally dates back to 200 to 2000 BC, finding its roots in the uh, uh, Hammurabi Code. The Hammurabi Code of Law, a collection of 282 rules, established standards of commercial interactions and set fines and punishment to meet the requirement of justice. It is a Babylonian legal text comprising during 1755 to 1750 BC. First legal statute was the Statute of Westminster in 1275 in England. The first attempt to bring the law to limitation to India, the Act 13 in 1859, which regulates the limitation of civil suit in British India. After the passage of the Limitation Act in 1963, the law on adverse possession underwent significant changes. What provisions did the Limitation Act 1963 brings with it? The 1963 Act fortified the position of the true owner of the land, as he now had to merely prove his title, while the burden of proof of adverse possession shifted to the person claiming it. Under the Limitation Act 1963, any person in possession of private lands for over 12 years or government land for over 30 years can become the owner of that property as laid down in Article 64, 65, 111 or 112 of the 1963 Act, relating to suit for possession of immovable property. According to Article 65 of Schedule 1 of the 1963 Act, a person in adverse possession of immovable property acquires title to that property. However, the possession must be open, continuous, and in defiance of the title of the real owner for 12 years. Similarly, Article 64 governs suit for possession based on previous possession and not on title. Meanwhile, Article 112, which applies to government property, mandates a requirement of 30 years for granting a title by adverse possession. Further, Article 111 says that the limitation period for the state will be 30 years from the date of disposition of the land belonging to a private person where any public street or road or any part of it has been disposed and no suit has been moved for its possession by or on behalf of any local authority. Supreme Court on adverse possession in 2004. Okay, so in 2004, Apex Court ruling in the Karnataka Board of the Waqf versus Government of India, the court dealt with the ingredients of adverse position. According to the observations made by the former Supreme Court Judge S.C. Rajendra Babu in the case, a person who claimed adverse position should show on what date he came into position, what was the nature of his position, whether the factum of position was known to the other party, how long this position has continued, and his position was open and undisrupted. However, in a series of decisions, the Supreme Court recommended that government seriously consider the issue of adverse position and make suitable changes in it. Why did Supreme Court suggest the changes? The two-judge Supreme Court bench in its 2008 ruling in the Hemaji Bagaji versus Jat versus the Vikabhai Khangarbai Harijan and others, while dealing with Article 65 of the Schedule of the Limitation Act 1963, observed that the law of adverse possession outs an owner on the basis of inaction within limitation and is irrational, illogical, and wholly disproportionate. The court said that the law as it exists is extremely harsh for the true owner and a windfall for a dishonest person who has illegally taken possession of the property. Adding that the law should not benefit the illegal action of a rank trespasser who had wrongfully taken possession of the true owner's property, the court said that it also placed a premium on dishonesty, emphasizing on the urgent need for a fresh look regarding the law on adverse possession. The court recommended the government to seriously consider and make suitable changes in the law of adverse possession. Following this, in December 2008, a reference was made to the Law Commission by the Minister of Law and Justice requesting it to examine the matter and furnish its report on the same. Okay, so about the law of adverse possession when someone possesses it. Okay. Okay, so adding that law should not benefit the legal action of a rank trespasser who had wrongfully taken possession of the true owner's property. The court said that also places a premium on dishonesty, emphasizing on the urgent need for a fresh look regarding the law on adverse possession. The court recommended the government to seriously consider and make suitable changes in the law on adverse possession. Following this, on December 19, 2008, a reference was made to the Law Commission by the Minister of Law and Justice, requesting it to examine the matter and furnish its report on the same. So that's why the Law Commission entered into its domain or into this particular domain, and so started issuing that in its published its report on this. The 22nd Law Commission in its report has said that there is no justification for introducing any change in the law relating to adverse possession. Okay, and the law commission's rationale is that society will benefit from someone making use of land the owner leaves idle. Okay, the leaves idle, and for the persons who came to regard the occupant as owner may be protected. Okay, that is what. So if the land is vacant and someone is taking possession of it and keeping possession, so it will be treated as the issue of adverse possession. Right? Okay, the report said that the original title holder who neglected the enforce his right over the land cannot be permitted to re-enter the land after a long passage of time. However, two of its ex officio members filed a dissent note stating that the law does not stand judicial scrutiny and promote false claim under the color of adverse possession. Why did the dissent note say? Citing troubles that two owners have been subjected to, the note said that already overburdened machinery of the court is further saddled with avoidable work, much of the misery of the litigants. If the law of adverse possession is struck off from the Limitation Act, it will not hinder anybody, right? Nor will it cause. Okay, so will not cause any neglect of land resources. The note said the fact that land prices are skyrocketing in both the rural and urban areas defeated the commission's argument that land is not put to proper use. The note said in an overpopulous country like India, where land is scarce, the law of adverse possession only promotes false claim under the color of adverse possession, which ultimately does not stand judicial scrutiny. The note contended. That means the law on adverse possession is the opinion of the Law Commission in its recent report. Okay, because the matter was referred by the court to the Law Commission. The National Institution Ranking Framework, the National Institution Ranking Framework under the Union Ministry of Education announced the India Ranking 2023 of higher education institutions. The Indian Institute of Technology IIT Madras in Chennai remained the best educational institution in overall ranking for the fifth consecutive term. The Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, ranked as the best university in the country for 8 years in a row. Okay. Highlight of the that National Institutional Ranking Framework 2023 overall ranking. IIT Madras remains the best education institution in overall ranking for the fifth consecutive term. It has also been ranked the best engineering college for 8 consecutive years from 2016 to 2023. Best university. The Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, ranked as the best university in the country for 8 years in a row. It stood fast in research institution category 2 for the third consecutive year. Best college, the Melinda House, Delhi, ranked as the best college for the seventh consecutive year. Okay. Top management institute, Indian Institute of Management, IIM Ahmedabad is the top management institute for the fourth consecutive year. Top in pharmaceutical study, National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. Okay. NIPR Hyderabad is ranked number one first time for the pharmaceutical studies. Best medical and dental college. The AIMS Delhi is ranked as the best medical college for the sixth consecutive year, and the Sabita Institute of Medical and Technical Education Chennai The top dental college. Best law college, National Law School of India University Bangalore is ranked as the best law college in the country for the sixth consecutive year. First architecture subject, IIT Roorkee stood at the first position in architecture subject. Agriculture, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi, IASRC, IARI, okay, New Delhi took the top slot in agriculture and allied sector. Fine. So this is the ranking. Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, Jawaharlal University, Jamia Millia Islamia, Jabalpur University, Jadavpur University, Banaras Hind University, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Amrita Vishwas Vidyapeetham, Vellore Institute of Technology, Aligarh Muslim University, and University of Hyderabad. So they are the top 10 universities of the country. About the National Institute of Rating Framework, the NIRF was launched by the Ministry of Human Resources. Okay, so it is by the Minister of Humanitarian Development and right now Minister of Education in 2015. The first came in 2016. This framework, which is the first ever effort by the Government of India, outlines a methodology to rank higher education institutions across the country. While participants participation in the NRF was initially voluntary, it became mandatory in 2018 for all government-run educational institutions. The ranking parameters consider five parameters for its ranking. So, teaching, learning resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcomes, outreach and inclusivity, and perception. These are five parameters on which this ranking is done. Category, initially NIRF rank best institution across 11 category. Overall national ranking, universities, engineering college, medical, management, pharmacy, law, architecture, dental and research. With the addition of two new category, innovation and agriculture and allied sector, the existing portfolio of Indian ranking has increased to 13 category. Right now, categorized 13 category ranking term in 13 different categories. Then Varunastra, indigenously designed and developed a heavyweight torpedo Varunastra, a successful test pad with a live warhead against an undersea target by the Indian Navy. Varunastra is a ship launch anti-submarine torpedo having a low drift navigational system, acoustics, homing, advanced acoustic. ସେ क्वेश्चन ଟା ଟିକେ ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିବ ସେଥିରେ ହଁ ନୂଆ ପ୍ୟାଟର୍ନ ଦେଇ ଦବ okay advanced acoustic counter major features autonomous guidance algorithms insensitive munitions warheads and GPS based recovery aid for practice torpedo. The Varunastra was designed and developed by Vizag based Naval Science and Technological Laboratory under the Defence Research and Development Organization and is manufactured by Bharat Dynamics Limited. According to Bharat Dynamics Limited, the torpedo with a maximum speed of 14 knots and a maximum operating depth of 600 meters has a long range with multi-maneuvering capabilities and is capable of acoustic homing with a wide look angle capable of tracking silent targets. It features autonomous advanced guidance algorithms and has deep navigational system over long endurance, which will make it more powerful in the naval warfare. Then exercise Ekta. Indian Navy Divers and Marine Commando are in the Maldives for the sixth edition of exercise Ekta with Maldives National Defence Forces. The annual exercise is conducted between the two forces to enhance interoperability in diving and special operation. About Indian Maldives relation, India was among the first to recognize Maldives after its independence in 1965 and to establish diplomatic relations with the country. India established its resident High Commissioner in Maldives in 1980. Maldives opened a full-fledged High Commission in New Delhi in November 2004. At that time, one of its only four diplomatic missions worldwide. So, India and Maldives signed a trade agreement in 1981 which provides for export of essential commodities. Since 1988, defense and security have been major area of cooperation between India and Maldives. So Maldives is dependent on India, so for many of its requirements. India provides the largest number of training opportunities for Maldives National Defense Forces, meeting around 70% of their defense training requirement. In 2016, the two countries also signed a comprehensive action plan to consolidate defense partnership. Exercise Ekubarin, the Indian Army and the Maldives National Defence Force have been conducting exercise Ekubarin, meaning friends in the Dibai language since 2009. This is how the relation has been strengthened between the two sides. In the Bandhan Vikas Kendra, around 120 tribal women members of the Odisha State Bandhan Vikas Kendra prepare laddu, cake, jam, toffee, pickles, squash, pakodas and biscuit by using dry mahua flour and supply them in the local market. For the Bandhan Vikas Kendra, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation, TriFed India, launched the Bandhan scheme in 2018 to improve tribal income. Fine. So, class Rachel. Through this value addition of tribal products, the Bandhan Vikas Kendra clusters provide the Bandhan Vikas Kendra economies of scale, livelihood, and market linkage, as well as entrepreneurship opportunity to tribal forest gatherers. Key facts about the Mahua tea. It is mainly cultivated or harvested in the wild in Southern Asia for its edible flower and oil seeds. Okay, so it is commonly known as Madhuka, uh, Madhkam, Mahua, Butter Tree, Mahua, Mawa, Mahulo, Lupi, Mi or Vippa Chettu. It is a frost resistant species that can grow in the marginal area of the dry tropical and subtropical forest up to an altitude of 1200 to 1800 meters. It can be found scattered in pastures in crop field in central India and on river banks in the semi-evergreen forest. It grow well where annual rainfall is between 500 millimeter to 1500 millimeter and where temperature is in the range of 2 to 40 degrees centigrade. It requires loamy and sandy loam soils with good drainage and also occurs on shallow stony clay and calcareous soils also. Okay. Then the Kerala Fiber Optical Network. The Kerala government officials launched the Kerala Fiber Optical Network, one of the flagship project envisaged during the first Chief Minister Pinari Vijayan. So the KFON Kerala, which was the first state to declare the right to internet as a basic right, aims to reduce the digital divide by ensuring high-speed broadband internet across to all houses and government offices. It is also intended to give a fillip to e-governance and accelerate Kerala's journey towards being a knowledge-based economy. Okay. The aim of this Kerala fiber optical network is to create a core network infrastructure information highway with non-discriminatory access to all services providers and to ensure a reliable, secure, and scalable internet connecting all government offices and educational institutions. About this Kerala fiber optical networks, basically the KF1 will act as a infrastructure provider. It is an optical fiber cable network of 30,000 kilometers with 375 points of presence across Kerala. The K4 infrastructure will be shared with all service providers, including beneficiary will have to depend on private local internet service providers. In the first stage of this K4N, the government wants to provide connectivity to 30,000 government offices and 14,000 BPL family in the state. As on July 5th, connectivity has been provided to 17,412 government offices and 2,105 houses, and cable network has been laid down to give connection to 9,000 houses. The KFON promises an internet speed of 10 Mbps to 10 Gbps. The quality of mobile phone call is also expected to improve once KFON is connected to the mobile tower in Kerala. It will speed up transmission to 4G and 5G. The rupees 1611 crore KFON project is a joint venture of Kerala State Electricity Board and the Kerala State IIT Infrastructure Limited. The project implementation was taken up by a consortium led by the Central PSU Bharat Electronics Limited. Kerala State Information Technology Infrastructure Limited would be responsible for the operation and maintenance of the project. The infrastructure asset shall be owned by the KSEBL Bharat Electronics is the system integrator of the KFON project. The project is fully funded by Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board, the state government agency for funding infrastructure projects. The Lavender Festival recently, the Union Minister of Science and Technology inaugurated the Lavender Festival at Bhadrewa in Jammu region. Lavender is a flowering plant in the mint family that's easily identified by its sweet floral scent. It is believed to be native to the Mediterranean and Middle East and India. About Lavender Festival, it is the second year of Lavender Fest devolution that Badgaon, a town, 10 minute for a call online class. Emerged as the lavender capital of India and an agri startup destination. The Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine, CSIR, IIM, is supporting farmers in the cultivation. Okay, so supporting the cultivation of lavender in the Badrewa, Doda district of Jammu Kashmir, and the CSR Aroma Mission. Fine. Key facts of the Aroma Mission. It is a flagship project of CSR under which lavender cultivation is being promoted in the temperate regions of Jammu Kashmir. It was launched under the Ministry of Science and Technology. The project aims to increase the income of small and marginal farmers and develop agriculture-based startups in the Jammu Kashmir region. The question illustrates the ethical issue that arises with the use of artificial intelligence tool, suggests some measures to address this concept to ensure that such tools are used responsibly and ethically. Artificial intelligence involves development of intelligent machines that can complete tasks without requiring explicit instruction from human, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and natural language processing. AI systems are designed to learn from data and experience and to adapt to new situations and tasks, making them highly flexible and versatile. It is being used in various applications, including autonomous vehicles, personalized healthcare, fraud detection, virtual assistants, and smart home. But along with the benefit of AI comes ethical and social challenges. The World Economic Forum has highlighted several ethical issues surrounding artificial intelligence, including bias in decision making. AI system can perpetuate and even amplify bias based on the data used to train them. For example, facial recognition technology has been criticized for having higher error rates for people of color and women. Job displacement: as AI technology advances, it can automate tasks previously performed by humans, leading to job displacement and economic inequality. A responsibility and accountability. Autonomous AI system raises question about responsibility and accountability. For example, if an autonomous vehicle causes harm, who is responsible for the accident? So it's a big question. Okay, so privacy concern, the collection of analysis of large amount of personal data for an AI can raise privacy and surveillance concern. Mobile phone apps that use AI to track individuals' movement during the pandemic may raise human right concern with respect to privacy. Transparency, the lack of transparency in AI decision making processes can lead to suspicion and mistrust of the technology. Discrimination, AI can be used to discriminate against individual or group based on characteristics such as race or gender. Or AI-based hiring system might discriminate against candidates with specific name or demographic background, perpetuating existing bias. Human control, potential loss of human control over AI system raises questions about their autonomy and decision-making process. Autonomous weapons, the development of autonomous weapon raises ethical concern about accountability and the potential for those weapons to act in way that are not aligned with human values. Inequality, the development of AI system may exacerbate societal inequality. AI-powered educational tool may be inaccessible to lower income or unreached community, creating disparity in educational outcomes. Impact on human well-being. AI system have the potential to impact human well-being in both positive and negative way, such as in the healthcare or workplace. In healthcare, AI is being used to develop more accurate medical diagnosis, personalized treatment plans, develop new drug therapies, and track and predict disease outbreak. In the field of employment, AI can automate repetitive and dangerous tasks, improving workplace safety. Measure to address the issue, establish clear ethical guidelines. The IEEE Global Initiative on Ethics on Autonomous and Intelligent System has developed ethical guidelines for AI, which aims to promote transparency, accountability, and justice in the use of artificial intelligence. Address issue of bias and discrimination. Facial recognition technology can have higher error rate for certain group of people, so it is important to train models using diverse data sets and avoid perpetuating existing bias. Ensure data privacy and security. European Union's General Data Protection Regulation set stringent rules for data protection and give individual control over their personal data. Foster collaboration. Partnership on AI brings together academics, researchers, and industry leaders to develop best practices for the development and deployment of AI. Regular assessment and audit of an AI system can identify any bias or ethical issue that needs to be addressed. Promote transparency and explainability. The IBM's AI Fairness 360 toolkit can help developers mitigate bias in machine learning model and improve the transparency. These steps taken can bring some safeguard. Promote education and awareness. Google has developed an educational program called Machine Learning Crash Course to teach people about AI and machine learning. Thus, the ethical implications of AI cannot be ignored, and there is need for continued discussion, research, and regulation to ensure that AI is developed and deployed in a way that aligns with human value and promote the well-being of society. Ultimately, the ethical issues raised by AI are complex and multifaceted, requiring ongoing engagement from researcher, policymaker, and the general public. Okay. Then coming to the MCQ, with reference to the National Institutional Ranking Framework, as the following the ranking is given to only those institutions which are involved in scientific research and development. Incorrect. So it uses inclusivity and perception as one of the parameters. It's a fifth parameter. So right, only two is correct. B. In which context the term Atlas and CMS are often mentioned in news. So they are mentioned as the particle dictator. Okay. So adverse possession refers to the holistic hostile position of property which must be continuous, uninterrupted, and peaceful. Right. Okay. So right to property is a fundamental right under the Constitution. No, it is no more. Right to property is a constitutional right in the Constitution of India. Right, but not a fundamental but a constitutional right. So 1 and 3 are correct. So answer is B. The following statement with respect to Commission Railway Safety is a statutory body under the Minister for Civil Aviation. Okay, so that is right. It is safety controlling authority for the working and operation of government and company managed railway. That's right. Chair by the railway minister. No, this railway minister is not a the chairman of the commission railway safety. So only 1 and 2 are correct. And the Kakova Dam was in news recently. Kakova Dam supplies water to the Crimean Peninsula. Okay, so which is correct. Okay. So the Kakoba Dam is built over the Dimpro River. That is also right. Fine, both one and two. With reference to the Aroma Mission, it is a flagship initiative of the Central Council of Science and Industrial Research. That is right. It aims to increase the income of small and marginal farmers and develop agriculture-based startup. Both are correct. Then seven, the reference to the Mahua tree. It is a native to evergreen focus of South Asia. That is not correct. Okay. Requires sandy loamy soil for growth. That is true. Two is correct. 25 crew members and 152 of the 2114 passenger on board the 2020 voyage of the Celebrity Summit recently reported that norovirus symptoms. First, the following statement: it is a common and highly contagious virus that causes nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. That is right. Okay. No vaccine are currently available to prevent this norovirus. That is also correct. So answer is C. Exercise ECTA is with Maldives, India and Maldives. Okay. Then Goa Power Minister recently said that bitumen used in road construction is a major cause of pollution. Consider the following statement regarding bitumen. It is a dense, highly viscous petroleum-based hydrocarbon, right? It is obtained only at the residue of the distillation of crude oil and not found naturally, right? Bitumen is known for its waterproofing and adhesive property. That's right. So it is used in road construction called the blacktop road or bituminous road. So most of the highways are bituminous road, but that is the major cause of pollution. So we have to find alternative for the BT road or the bituminous used in road construction activity. Thank you for watching.